Hey guys, welcome. This is PBT from Trend Analytics, and today I will be going through some of the massive runners from last week. Small caps, the entire year of last week has been super amazing. We've got some very nice 500% runners, 200% runners, very nice liquidity, very nice setups, very nice volume in the market. Probably preparing for some Christmas rally and stuff. Either way, today I'll be going through some of the top plays that was alerted in the Discord last week, and many of the members banked over here as well. Now, without further ado, let's go on with the first play of the day, which is RDHL. Now, this was the first play of the week. This was the one that set the entire tone for small caps to have some kind of potential running for the entire week. So before this, you can see that RDHL had some nice news, 30 cents all the way up to 410. Now let's go over our breakdown process on how this was being played and how I alerted this. So right now, we do have this news on RDHL last week where RDHL Redhill Biopharma says FDA grants 5-year market exclusivity for bacterial infection treatment to Lesia. That's why the shares jump pre-market. So typically for me, when I see the stock, running up so hard from 30 cents to 76 cents, it's just close to a 100% run. I don't always want to buy it immediately because it's risky, right? You never know whether this thing is going to hold up or whether this thing is going to continue going up. And especially after running 100%, there are some stocks that do actually come down. And also not to mention that this was the start of the week, so we are not too sure if small caps are going to be hot that week or it's going to be slow that week. So initial pullback here is what we want to look out for. When we see this pullback on the VWAP, right? This white line over here is my VWAP. Right over here, we started to form a nice base at this level here. And you can see that we are slowly curling upside to VWAP. Potentially also one of the very classic, very effective pattern ABCD setup here. So you get your A here, you get your B, you get your C, making higher lows here, and then you can see the D breaking through the previous highs, which is over here at 77 cents. Now, when we have a runner like this, when we see strength like this coming in, I think it's very important for us to identify what are some of our key resistance levels going into it so that we know where are some of the levels that we want to scale up to when we take this play. So typically for me, I like to go to my daily chart and chart out some of my resistance levels. Now you can see that on the daily chart right over here, we have a lot of range on this ticker. What's important for us is to kind of identify where are our key support and resistance levels. Now there are a lot of support and resistance levels that we can draw. Right now, I do see one very clear one at 117 and then another one over here at 128. So technically this entire zone over here, the previous consolidation zone, right now, I want to keep an eye out over here because that's where I will be looking to see lots of resistance or lots of resistance meeting up right over here as well. Now, of course, at this point of time, the price was kind of trading at 77 cents, 78 cents. So, 117 to 128 may not be that relevant. So we want to look for something that's price range that's a lot more current to us. Right here, we do have a wick. Now, wicks are very important key levels on your daily chart or whatever chart you guys are looking at because that is where key rejection levels are at. That's where sellers are stepping in, pushing the price down from what's supposed to be price looking to break out from. So we have a bit of level over here at 102. Now 102 is also near $1, and $1 is going to be a huge psychological level, right? That's where a lot of people will be looking to sell their shares, or people are trying to short right there as well. So 102, this fits the bill, $1 being a psychological level. So this is a big level I want to keep an eye out for. We do have another one over here, right? Just going to draw this right across. Get some levels up so you know where are some of the levels to look out for. So these are all my resistance levels I'm going to keep my eyes out for. Now that we have our levels drawn, you can see that there's a whole lot price action movements over here. Now, of course, we don't know all of this, right? When we day trade, we don't have access to all these information price action over here. So we got to trade according to how it is. So right over here, you can see that we had an ABC setup. I got my level smart, so I know what to look out for. This price point at 63, 64 cents, 69 cents, and I see this thing had a first pump, pull back into under VWAP, and now what I want to see is strength build up and reclaim of VWAP, which is exactly what it did right over here. So potential entries can be here with a stop loss under the low of the day or the previous swing low right over here, which is 57 cents. We're not too bad risk reward right here. And you can see that volume started coming in and pushed through the stop. Now, ignore this line over here. And we start meeting some resistance right over here. Now, apart from just using your bigger time frames for resistance levels, the thing is very important to identify or mark up pre-market levels as well. Use a different color if you need to. Identify your pre-market levels that shows you where your pre-market rejection is. Because, those are going to help you out a lot on what to look out for when you trade intraday, when price is pushing through that level. So you know what to look out for. Right now, you can see that price is just kind of filling out itself, trading and just respecting levels and all that. Right at the market open, we start to see this thing start to consolidate here, going under VWAP, going through VWAP and knifing down again. So lots of sellers right over here, right? Lots of sellers, during this RDHL. Lots of people trying to sell through, but it's not giving up. And if I were to use this in my pivot, if the pre-market lows, I can start to see, all the knives right over here, right? All the knives, right? We have one knife here, we have one knife here, we have another knife here. They are all holding up. They're all holding up price. Even on this breakout here, you can see that this thing broke through the pre-market level high at 84 cents and popped all the way to 90 cents right over here, and it massively sold down. Lots of sellers right over here. But one thing that didn't take away from RDHL is this trend. You can see that this trend has been strong, absolutely amazing. Every single time it sells off, it's keep bouncing off this trend. So for me, it's very, very simple. We have a very classic ascending triangle setup here. Price is respecting this trend line so hard. So on the next pullback here, right, when I saw this reverse back up here, this is where I started the alert entries over here at 75 cents to 80 cents, because I want to see if we can get a nice breakout over the pre-market highs and of course the previous rejection highs as well. Right, so these are my levels to kind of look out for. You can see that right over here, we retested the trend again, which is a sign of very, very healthy trend. And we started reclaiming VWAP here. And once we started breaking up of all these levels here, all the shorts right over here are underwater, right? When all these people are shorting, but they have to set the stop loss somewhere, right? So when they set the stop loss here above the levels where they start shorting, when we break through with volume, all the stop loss will get triggered, and this is what causes a sudden influx of volume, because short seller stop loss is equal to them buying back shares. So we have a huge volume push right over here, and you can see that the price moved from 83 cents from the alert all the way up to my first key level here. Now you can see this is the first key level that we drew on the daily chart. This is the wick on the daily chart, right? And you can see how massively they're rejecting this so hard, right? So this is the area where you want to start taking your profits, because you don't know whether this thing is going to hold up, whether this thing is going to continue, whether this thing is going to die out, whether this thing is going to break out. You don't know. But what you do know, and what you're in right now, is in this position at 70, 80 cents. And you had a nice 30 cents with $1. This is the first key level that we charted out at the start of the morning open, and it's 102. You can see that rejection of wicks and starting down, pushing down again. Sellers are coming in again. Lots of sellers over here. Now, when there's lots of sellers over here, it may work against our favor, right? But if we do have a very nice setup and volume push, all these shorts are all slowly going to be underwater. As you can see right over here, we had a nice breakout off this first key level, and look at where the second rejection happened. Right, the second rejection happened on our second key level on the daily chart. Right, you can see this is a massive sell-off. Right, the shorts were just piling in over here, sellers were just piling over here, and this is a massive rejection of 1.07 all the way to 92 cents. Right now, of course, let the stock sell up by itself, and then you can see that it starts selling off, selling off, selling off. Now, right over here, we have another downtrend breakout, and you can see that the price broke out. We're holding above the 200 EMA here. The price broke out, and you can see that it started forming a very nice trend. Now, right over here, all we have to do, right, our main focus is to get into the share at the nice position, at a nice risk to reward, and we take profits on the way up, but we don't sell everything. Now, even though this thing is selling off here, we have no reason to close out everything, because why? Our trend is still intact. We're still above VWAP. We're holding above the 200 EMA. This is a lot of strong factor that this stock is not yet breaking down. So you can see that EOD, as we inch closer to power hour, we reclaimed some nice levels and started pushing through, making 1.14 to new highs before the market closed today. Right, so now at this point, we're still sitting at 80 plus, 70 plus cents average. We don't really have to worry about this dying down unless, of course, this thing does an offering, which is something we can't really predict. But, it's always good to hold some shares left, right? So the next day, pre-market, we have a nice gap. Whenever a ticker gaps up to pre-market, right, this is a nice sign. Tell us that this ticker still has strength. It's not done for the day. It's not done for the week. It's not done yet. There is still a lot more move that this ticker can provide. Now, remember this gray box here? This gray box here is our previous supply zone, which acted as resistance. Now, since we're underneath that, on daily chart, you can see that this was the level over here. We drew lots of consolidation here. Now, since we're underneath that, this is going to be our resistance zone. When we look back over here, you can see that pre-market gapped up and broke over and, just pushed through this level here. And you can see the first pullback to the gap zone exactly touched this level. Now, for me, I like to find stocks with nice volume, or the first day of the run, get my position in there and just slowly enjoy the ride up. One tip, when the ticker starts running for multi-day now, we want to start looking at bigger time frames, right? I typically like to use the 10 to 30 minute for my bigger time frame. If I can find a nice support or a nice reason for me to kind of continue holding on to the stock, then I will continue staying in it. This is the 10-minute chart. And you can see that on the 10-minute chart, right, things are a lot more clearer and we have less candles, more consolidated price action for us to base our decision making on. Now, if I want to remove all these drawings over here so that you guys have a clear view, so we have the V chart, right? You can see that there is a nice trend forming. Now, remember, our entry levels trend was something like this, right? This was given on the day before, right? And you can see that it broke down. But because it was for the entry level and it did play its part, it's done. Now, since it's running the second day right now, we want to look for a multi-day trend, right? Which is where I want to look at my bigger time frames, because the bigger time frame gives you more consolidated price action, less choppy, less noise. Now you can see right over here, we have a very nice uptrend. And not only that, we do also see a very nice downtrend right over here. So you can see right over here, we have a nice uptrend and we also have a nice downtrend. It's very evident for us right now. We either need to hold this trend or break off from this trend for a play. Going back to the 1-minute chart, we use the 10-minute chart and stuff to find our pattern. We go to the 1-minute chart to look for entries. Now, the 1-minute chart, you can see that when market open up, we do have a nice downtrend breakout. It indicates strength, right? And not only that, this is also a reclaim of VWAP. Even after selling off, after the first pre-market run, I'm not really too concerned about the pre-market runs. You can see that it tried reclaiming the VWAP here, it couldn't. But on open, when it reclaimed the VWAP and broke the downtrend, this is what shows us that this ticker has strength. And you can see right from there, downtrend breakout. 1.2s went all the way up and halted up at 1.7 and went up to 2.5. Came back down here. This is where things get a little bit more trickier now. Lots of shorts. All the shorts are underwater. They got the stop loss triggered and this to get pushed all the way to 2.7 before coming back down here. Now, how do you know when you should sell? Whether this move is done or not? Now, at this point of time, you guys could have gotten re-entries right over here. I think I learned re-entries over here at 1.2s, right? If you guys remember. Initial entries was at 80 cents yesterday. So we're not panicking, even if this thing goes down to 1.5, we're not panicking. We're so far away from our average, we're staying safe. Right? Of course, I'm not telling you guys don't hold full position. You have to take your profits, right? Especially if to 2.7. The only reason why we have this opportunity here is because this thing gapped up, right? Which gives us a setup to play. How do you know that this thing is going to continue pushing or it's done? Right now on the 10-minute chart, which is what we identify our trend from, you can see that the first bounce or where the consolidation happened was right at my 50 EMA line. You can see that. Right, so technically on the 10-minute chart, if we don't break down from this 50 EMA line right over here, the trend is still holding up. So you can see the dip right here near the 50 EMA made bottoms and we rise all the way from 1.5 all the way to 2.9. The next day, we had a nice move in 4.1. Amazing play from 80 cents to 4.1 in 2 days. Now, when the ticker starts breaking down from the 50 EMA, we're not seeing that much strength anymore, and that's why you see RDHL is not going to continue. This is where you know that you should let up and move on to the next ticker. Amazing execution, a lot, very, very nice liquidity, very nice play over here. Lots of little banks right over here. Let's move on to the next one. Now, the next one was VVOS. Now, RDHL definitely ignited last week's small cap sector. It made a statement, at the start of the week saying like, okay, you know what? This week is going to be a hot week for small caps. It made a huge statement. The next day, VVOS had a massive news. Something about sleep apnea, FDA approval, or something like that. FDA 510 clearance. And you can see the price went from 492 all the way to 969 and just kept trending upwards. Now, I was awake over here, and for me, I didn't want to chase this move, right? It's always very risky to kind of chase a move when it's really up 100%. You never know when it's just going to start topping out and sell off. On hindsight, knowing how RDHL has given us such a strong move on the first day, signifying that small caps are strong, I maybe should have just chased even right over here because, this would have been a nice play. Either way, it doesn't matter, right? Once this thing starts selling off, I started looking for a setup. Now, whenever I start to see a very strong bounce, you see this candle over here. This is a doji candle. And whenever I start to see, after selling off, the ticker starts having a very nice bounce. This is where I start to identify my trend line because this is where this bias is not letting it trying to kind of break down. We have a very nice little trend being drawn right over here. So right over here, we do have a nice downtrend as well. So for me, this ticker has been extremely choppy. I do have lots of resistance on this level here. I alerted this at the 1250 break because this is where sellers are stepping in. But technically for us to really get past through this breakout here, we do need to break out over 1280. So 1250 breakout right over here, it was all wicks. it's still very dangerous to play because it's so choppy, right? One moment is at 13.50, the next moment is at 11.66. That's how much range this ticker has. At this point of time, this ticker ran from $4 to $12, right? A 40 cents move is not what we're looking for right over here. Understand that this is the range that this ticker has, and the amount of upside that we could do if we break out is a lot more than just 40 cents. No longer that way. We're not trading in that series of price anymore. So once we have a clean candle breakout over 12.50, right over here, this is where we take our entries, and you can see we halted up to $13, went to $16, went to $19, and right over here is where we have another downtrend breakout into the end of the day, right? We start to see lots of support over here, right? Lots of price wicking off, selling right over here. You know, sellers keep trying to push this down, but we keep holding this up, right? You can see that previously before this level here, we rejected this one, right? So this was resistance. Now that we broke out, it became our support. Price keep trying to break through, but we keep wicking up, keep wicking up, we keep wicking up. This was a massive bounce. So once we broke through from the downtrend, this is where the parabolic moves start. Honestly, at this point over here, nothing makes sense. Don't chase it. But you can see, for those of you guys who paid attention and chart your levels out, be patient, let the setup build, you're going to cut this another play over here. And you can see this thing went all the way to $48 for a nut for. This was a massive run for the day, right? Huge win off the 12.50 break. Well, we never broke down from trend. There's no reason to close out all top position. Enjoy your runners, as RDHL has showed us the strength. And of course, we never know where the top is, but whatever the case is, always take your profits and never let your trade go bad, right? Unfortunately, there wasn't too much going on the next day, right? Like I said, you know, if we see a PM gap right, then yes, but you know, we never really did anything during PM, so not too much going on, so it was done. But it's fine, we move on to the next one. On the next one, we have this ticker called MINM. Now, the only difference for this ticker is that this ticker doesn't have news. Now, remember, RDHL has news, VVOS has news. Okay, so these two tickets over here, they have a reason to be trading up so much. MINM doesn't really have the reason to be trading up so high. Now, MINM was a very interesting one. This was a massive move, 95 cents to $10. That's absolutely insane. And again, our small caps were shown to have lots of strength that week, so we want to keep that in mind. One thing to kind of take note about MINM is that this is not in the same sector as VVOS and RDHL. RDHL and VVOS are both in the biotech industry. This is not. This is, I think, is in technology or communication. So it's very, very different. The only thing that sets us apart as to why this thing is running is because it's a low floater. Right over here, we have some pre-market action. It came back down. 7 o'clock, more brokers opened up, volume came in. Now this is where I start alerting my entries right over here. But you can see that this over here was forming a descending triangle pattern. Now, when we broke up from it and we started to base right over here, this is where I alerted my entries. At 238, you can see that it dipped all the way down to 222. But we're still holding on to VWAP, we're still holding on to trend. Volume started coming in, and you can see that we started forming another flag over here, and we just ride up all the way. So long as you don't lose the 21 EMA trend, follow the momentum, follow the volume. 238, nice move all the way to 787. Even though here we are showing signs of breakdown from the 21 EMA trend, the secondary trend over here is the 50 EMA. We're still holding up, right? From 238 to $7, you gotta take your profits. Even over here, you gotta take your profits because you never know. You don't know what's gonna happen. But leave some for more. You know, so as long as we hold this 21 EMA trend, there's no reason for us to close everything. Right, so right over here, you can see that this thing started to break out from downtrend again. And even right over here, we started forming another flag, right? It's very, very textbook, break out from downtrend again. And this is where the momentum start to slowly go down. You can see that the 21 EMA slowly starting to curve down. Price is going under the 21 EMA, but 21 EMA never crossed under the 50 EMA, right? We're still holding strength over here. Once the price regained the 21 EMA, you can see that price pushed up even more. And we had a nice move all the way to $9. Right on open, we had a nice pop of 1028, but sellers push it down. And you can see right over here, there were a lot of sellers. Every single candle here was all long upper wicks. This is not something you want to see when you're bullish. We had a big sell here. And again, right over here, we started consolidating and we started curling up a little bit. But unfortunately, we do have massive sells again. And once we lose that VWAP, now this VWAP here is what caused us to reverse and short a bit of strength. Once we lose this VWAP here, to me, the play is done. But at the end of the day, like I said, right, there's no reason for this ticker to be up so high because there's no news. And you can see what happened in the next few days. It went all the way back down to $2. All these tickers here are very, very nice play, very, very lucrative, but you don't want to overstay on them because they don't have news. There's no reason for them to be up so high. Take your profits on the way up. Don't be on the wrong side of the move. All right, and then after that, we got blessed the very, very next day by another move, very, very similar to MINM, same share structure. I'm just gonna go through it a little bit as to why NEXI was the same and how it could have traded NEXI. Now remember, MINM was a move that happened after VVOS and after RDHL. However, MINM doesn't have any news. Even so, it still made a nice move from 90 cents to 10.28. So we have to respect that. Right now, this one was starting a trend. Now, before we move on to the next ticker, I want you guys to remember the setup on MINM. I'm not going to come back over here, but I want you guys to remember the setup on MINM. Now, MINM had this amazing setup right over here where we have some pre-market action, right? To see that it moved from 108 to 150 and it went back down to VWAP, right? Again, you can see, it just kept trying to reclaim VWAP here, but it couldn't. And it went all the way down, but at 7 o'clock, volume came in and pushed through VWAP. And that's what caused us to have this very, very nice move all the way to $10. This was what set the expectation for MINM. Now, the very next day, we had the same ticker, NEXI. Now, this NEXI is a biotech ticker, yes. But at the end of the day, this thing doesn't have any news. There's no reason for this to kind of continue its run. But you can see that the setup is exactly the same. We have pre-market action. We rejected VWAP right over here. Rejection, rejection, rejection. And at 7 o'clock, we reclaim VWAP with volume. It's the same exact setup as MINM. They both don't have news. They're both low floaters. They both have the same technical setup. Over here, I let it over 4.25 because that was the VWAP, right? That was what I want to see reclaim at 7 o'clock with volume, which was what happened. So over 4.25, that happened. And all we have to do is enjoy our ride out. Now, we see MINM running from $1 to $10. Given that MINM could do that without any news, NEXI being in the same setup could do the same. So once over 4.25, don't have to settle for small gains, right? Because we know that the potential for this to move is high. So once you start to see it move to 866, which is 100% already, start taking your profits and enjoy the ride up and ride for the 100% move. Now you can see that price is slowly starting to slow down on the 21 EMA, right? And this is where I think it was halted for news, which is why it's still very important for you guys to take your profits on the way up. 100% move if you're not taking profits, that's the same. But yes, the entirety of last week has been great. Hopefully this week gives us the same price action. I am looking at a few stocks which I will be sharing in the Discord. But for now, this is all there is to it. I hope you guys enjoyed this recap from last week. Now remember, a lot of people find recaps boring. They're always looking for the next big ticker. But if we don't recapping MINM, we wouldn't have been able to find out that NEXI was a similar setup, which is something that we can pull from them, which got us amazing gains right over here. Okay? I'll see you guys in the Discord if you guys are in there. That's it. Thank you for watching. Be sure to subscribe if you guys are not yet subscribed, and we'll be looking to post out more content in the future. Otherwise, see you guys.